So, welcome to another episode of Get Real with Liz. And today I have a special guest, a gorgeous woman and entrepreneur and all of the above. Nancy, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do to start us off in your own words?
Yes. Okay. So my name is Nancy Ulloa, and I am the owner, winemaker, and boss lady of Ulloa Cellars. And Ulloa Cellars is a Latina-owned wine brand in Paso Robles. I specialize in the production of white wine, specifically using grapes that are a little out of the usual. People refer to them as obscure, so they're rare, unusual grapes. And I think that's something that makes my business and my wines a little extra special is the fact that authentic. Yes, the fact that I definitely have my identity be at the forefront of what my brand is and what it stands for. And then also, I also use my spirituality to infuse the wines with positive energy. So I have a lot of fun doing those kind of things.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty interesting because that sets you apart from the rest of the world, right? So we were talking about in our last podcast about blue ocean strategy and red ocean strategy. I'm not sure if you know about that, but what makes you different, you know, especially coming to the wine business, you know, we were just talking about how not only you represent the label in your wine, but you also represent our culture. Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, how you got inspired with that?
Yeah, so to be quite honest, for a long time, I thought that I had to follow certain rules to fit into the wine industry because, of course, I wanted to be let in and I wanted to be accepted. And so for a while, I definitely was trying to do and show up as other people were showing up, which in the wine industry, most of the winemakers are men, white men. Right. And so no matter what I did, it was really tough for me to fit in and to like fit into these little boxes that they expect us to be in. And thankfully, I have been very intentional about surrounding myself with people that align with my values and with who I am. And so a few of my mentors and including my family, like said to me, girl, like, who are you? Like, you are diluting yourself to be digestible. And that's
know your worth. Know your worth.
Like, that is not, like, that's not the purpose or the way that you're gonna be able to reach to people. So they encouraged me to really show up truly with my personality and my culture, the way I treat people, which I'm a very loving and affectionate person. And I always thought that being so sensitive was a flaw. I thought that people would take advantage of me or wouldn't take me serious, but I have been able to find that there's a lot of power in being kind and being compassionate and being loving. And so I'm using that superpower to truly...
In the good way,
Yes, to truly show up as myself. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's very important that you said that because, you know, charisma and personality, you can't teach that, you know, so not everybody has that charisma and personality. Yes. And so that's kind of what sets you apart as well.
Yeah. And I do think that has a lot to do with how I grew up with my family or the family values that I have. My parents are the most kind, like beautiful people who are very humilde. They're very humble, down to earth. Right. And like, I try to be like them every day. You know, we don't have much, but whatever we have, we like to help people in whatever way possible. And so when people come into my space, or even when I worked in other restaurants or in the winery that I worked at, I made sure that I made people feel comfortable. And they
welcoming.
Felt like at home. Yeah. Like, people often walk into my tasting room and they say, whoa, like this place feels safe.
Yeah.
Like,
it's welcoming, and it gives that sense of belonging.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, belonging. That's a really amazing word that I for a long time, again, like, I showed up to places and wineries and to try to have an experience, and I felt like I was not welcome. Right. And it's so important for me to make people that look like me and like my parents feel welcome and appreciated and valued. Right.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about value on another podcast too. You know, your value, your self-worth that doesn't go away. It just depends on where you're planted, right? Yes. So some people, you might be in the wrong place and people don't value your worth. Yes. But then you can be in a totally different place, and then next thing you know, like, everybody understands your worth.
Yes, absolutely. I have been able to experience that with the community that I have built here in Paso Robles. For a long time, I didn't know if I was going to make it, you know, because I moved here by myself. I didn't know anyone. And so it's taking me, I've been here now for 8 years, and I have finally been able to find my people, and it feels so good.
Finding your tribe.
Yes, I found them, they found me, and it's just so incredible to know.
Well, it's the energy that you give and the energy that you receive, basically.
Yes,
energy attracts energy. I always say it's like a magnet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I truly believe in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that with other agents as well. I'm a realtor, and it's like, they asked me like, why are all these realtors still talking to you and they're in a different brokerage? And I'm like, it's the energy, and it's all about helping each other out. If you help somebody, it's kind of not only helping them, but you're also helping yourself.
Absolutely.
And the same thing with your business, for example, you know, you're opening doors for people that thought couldn't do it.
Yeah. I hope so. I honestly think that.
Oh, I know for a fact.
Yeah. Like when I moved to Paso, I was looking for, I knew that I wanted to learn winemaking through mentorship opportunities. And so when I moved here, like I started to like look for someone that looked like me. Like I wanted to find a woman who was a brown woman who was making wine. And I looked, and I could not find a brown woman making wine, or at least with their own brand, you know. Right. So I thought maybe there isn't a chance for me to be able to make it because there isn't anyone out here that is doing it. And so after I broke those, and I'm
barriers.
still breaking those barriers, those glass ceilings, like I take it very serious for me to be that representation so that other women see that it is a possibility.
Right.
And also that journey doesn't have to look like mine.
Right.
And it doesn't have to look like anyone else's.
Right.
I think that sometimes people get like caught in, well, this is how she did it, this is how he did it, I must do it that way. But in reality, a lot of people have different resources, they have different priorities, they have different values. And so like one way is not the right way. You know, there's a lot of different ways. And I just like to show that to people because that is what keeps us from actually getting things done.
Right.
Or pursuing something.
Right. And then not only that, but, you know, like you said, you came in here and you were looking for that one person, right?
Yeah.
And you could have easily gotten discouraged because you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
But then you basically pushed yourself, you know, whether you had support from your family members or friends or even your inner self, because you're very spiritual.
Yes.
You know, like, hey, no, why not me? Why not me? You know?
Yeah.
And so you're also, like I said, you are inspiring other people because most of the time as human beings, you know, we're like, oh, it's not possible because nobody else is doing it. Yep. But the minute that you see somebody else doing it, then your possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. You got to see evidence. You got to find evidence of the possibilities. And I think that that's something that is very important for people, specifically people of color in the wine industry, that where you get stuck and you're like, well, I don't know if I'm doing it the right way, or I need to have X amount of money to make it happen. When in reality, there's many ways to go around it.
There's opportunities.
There's a lot of resources. Yeah, there's a lot of resources.
Right. And that's another good thing that you said right now, the ability to have possibilities, because a lot of the times people go by, you know, say somebody told them like, oh, unless you have all this money or unless you have, you know, your own place or whatever. You kind of started working at a winery and then you kind of just learned. Is that,
well,
or can you tell us a little bit about your story?
So I would say I've been going through a lot of different,
stages of your life.
Yeah, like spiritually like rebirths, I would say. And so maybe about 15 years ago, I realized that when you live with intention, that a lot of things could fall into place if you do it intentionally. Right. And so for me, I moved to Paso intentionally to learn how to make wine. And I knew that I didn't want to learn by going back to school. I didn't want to pay thousands of dollars because I had already gone to school. I went to San Jose State, studied something completely different from what I'm doing now. And so I knew that I wanted to learn through mentorship opportunities. So I moved to Paso with that intention. I wore my heart on my sleeve asking people for those opportunities. And so I knew that the best way for me to learn was through through working at a winery that would allow me to learn
the experience.
So yes, absolutely. So like hands-on, you know, getting my hands, feet,
dirty.
hair, everything dirty. The wine industry, everything
long
gets dirty.
hours.
Long hours. And so I was thankful enough to find this winery that was open to allow me to come in and work for them, but at the same time also learn while I was working there.
Right.
And so I was very transparent from the day one about the fact that I wanted to learn and that I needed them to give me access to that learning.
Right. The opportunity.
And yes, like I didn't try to trick them into like letting me work there. I said I want to learn. And like I asked, are you willing to let me learn? And the doors were open, and I asked all the questions. That I worked with Bastien Leduc, who is a winemaker of Seven Oxen. That's a winery that I was working at. And, Frenchmen have a reputation of being very, like, assertive, the way they speak. Which for me, I was like, well, I grew up with my parents being, like, my uncles being very, like, picking on me. So it was kind of like that, But I do appreciate the fact that he was so willing to teach me. I asked so many questions, like, why do you do this to this? And why do you do it here? And what are we going to do next? And he had the patience to teach me those things. And, as
you don't see that very often.
No, in the wine industry, there's a lot of people, but like the fact that I work with him and I was bugging him 24/7 about all the things that I wanted to learn, I'm just very thankful that he was patient enough to teach me, and so like that's how I learn, and I did it intentionally. And even with the relationships and mentorships that I have, like not all my mentors are in the wine industry. Like I have a mentor who is Marta Inuigan, who is the owner of Life Elements in Atascadero, and she does like beauty products, like wellness, and she's been teaching me a lot of things about marketing and email marketing and building my website. So I have made these connections intentionally because not only because I want to get something out of our relationship, but also because I want to
learn, and you want to grow,
learn and build strong connections with people that I value. So.
Right, and you're blossoming, right? So like, even though you're like, okay, I went to this place and I'm learning, but you planted there intentionally, and now you're blossoming. Right. That
feels good. That feels good. I'll take it.
It does. And that's why I say, I tell everybody, like, you bloom wherever you're planted, because you just never know what opportunities. You're always a conversation away from a totally different life, I always say.
Yes.
And going backwards, you said that you went to school for something else completely, something different. What sparked in your life that decided for you to go into the wine business?
So I studied sociology at San Jose State. So I thought that I was going to change the world. I love working with people. I thought that
you are changing the world.
Yeah, but now in a different way. Like the little bit I know that I was going to continue my advocacy work through the things that I'm doing, right? But I thought that my purpose was to like help people and empower them through the work that I was doing with these nonprofits. And it was really amazing work, but it was very heavy as well. It was very heavy. It was draining
your energy.
And as an empath, like I really asked myself, do I want to live the rest of my life doing this?
Right.
And while I was working in these nonprofits and studying sociology, I was also working in fine dining. And so through working in fine dining and serving people and hospitality, I learned a lot about wine. And so I always had this little, I tell people, like, legit physically, I felt like a little fire inside me. Anytime that I heard anything that had to do with like fermentations and production and vineyard work. And I never met anyone that went that route, right? I was up in San Jose in the Bay Area. I didn't know anyone. Wine was not consumed in my home. So I didn't think that was a possibility for me. And so even though I used to daydream about one day doing it, I didn't think it was possible for me. And I'm so thankful that I had a catalyst of an event that really changed everything. I was able to thankfully leave an abusive relationship. I'm a domestic violence survivor. And
you and me both.
And you never know what's going to come out the other side of that. And for me, it was this feeling of a deep love for life. It was an intense love for life, because I was like, I could have died. I could have died. Life is too short. What is going to help me create a meaningful life? Because I realized that a lot of the things that I did in my life were to please others,
right?
To take care of my parents, to take care of my siblings, to
well,
take care of my
that's
partners.
kind of how our culture is.
Yes, and so I live by the rules. I'm still a good girl, but I was like that, like really good girl that follow all the rules. And once I left,
you have to stick through it.
Oh yeah,
no matter what, right? No matter the circumstances, you have to be there.
Because then, if not, you're like inconsiderate, you're selfish. Like, how dare you not take care of your family and live for them? And so once I left this relationship, I was like, holy smokes! Like, I could be dead. And now that I'm alive, I could choose the kind of life that I want to live, even though I have certain limitations and just things that I didn't think that were possible for me. I asked myself, what would you do if you could choose any type of life without boundaries or limitations? What would that life look like? Like, picture it, visualize it. And right away I was like, wine. Like, I would love to learn how to make wine. And so I was like, wait a minute, I can.
Right.
But not here in my little apartment across the street from San Jose State. Like, I need to go to wine country. So that decision was made in 2015. I was like, okay, in order for me to do this, I'm living with intention. I have to prep myself before I move to wine country. So like, I moved from the job where I was at to a higher end like restaurant where I was making more money. I had access to all the wines that I couldn't afford to buy so that I can learn about them and taste them. And then I also started, I signed up for the intro course for the Court of Master Psalms so that I could have more experience and knowledge for when I moved to wine country. And so for a whole year, I saved all my pennies. I worked my booty off. I worked extra hours. I studied. All I did for that whole year was talk, breathe, and drink wine.
Right. You're building that foundation.
Yeah, I told everyone I'm moving to wine country. Like, I'm going to learn.
And what made you come to Paso Robles and not like Napa?
Yeah, so I didn't think that I was coming to Paso. My idea was to go to Sonoma. I didn't want to go to Napa because Napa is too snobbish. I think that the wine industry needs to have some changes. I didn't feel drawn to go there. So I was like, Sonoma is more chill, right? Like, I'll go to Sonoma. I went and checked out the area. I really love Petaluma. I thought I was going to move to Petaluma or Santa Rosa. And then this Angel, who was my manager, very stubborn Virgo like me, was like, you're not going to Sonoma, you're going to Paso. And I was like, Paso? What is Paso? Where is Paso? I had never really been wine tasting here. And so she insisted so much, so stubborn like me. Was like,
but there's a reason behind it. Look at
absolutely. She told everyone she's moving to Paso. I'm going to get her a job. So she convinced me to move down here. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I could say that.
No, that's it. Tú di lo que digas. Todo se puede en esta vida,
Okay, I was like, life is too short. Like, I can go down there, try it out. If it doesn't work out, I'll move to Sonoma, right? Like, I'll just go try it out. She's offering me a job, so she got me a job at Thomas Hill Organics, where I started not only serving, but I also became the wine director, and that really, like, open up the doors to meeting people, to learning about the wines that were being grown in the area, to really start honing down and figuring out what it was that I wanted to produce once I started making wine. And so that's a reason why I came to Paso. Yeah.
And right now, like you said, there's a reason. There's a bunch of grapes, right?
Yes.
And every place, because I see some people growing wines in different types of soil. What made you choose your wines? You have them right there.
Yeah, would you like to try one of these?
Yes, I would love.
So
yes,
today I brought two babies. So I want to show you the labels.
And they are babies, right?
Yeah, they are my babies. I call them my babies. I love them so much. They're living entities. They're changing. They're expressive. They could tell a story, and so they're my babies.
Right.
So this is my brand. So Ulloa Cellars is my brand. Here we go. Okay, so Ulloa Cellars is my brand. That it's dedicated to the divine feminine. So I love connection with women.
Right.
And
it represents yourself.
Yeah, it represents me and my beliefs, and I believe in the power of the divine feminine that we all have in us, not just women, but also men. We all have masculine and feminine energy. So my brand, it's all about women, and also I work with these grapes that are very rare because I love being able to teach people about the grapes to empower them as a consumer.
Yeah, it's a learning.
And it's a learning. So I do that. So today I brought like a Verschraminer, which is very floral, feminine, bright. And then my husband and I just launched the second brand that it's called The Witch and the Warlock, and we made.
Which congratulations, by the way, on your wedding.
Thank you so much. We just got married. We launched a brand. There's a lot of things
but great
going
things
on.
happening. Yes,
a lot of really amazing stuff. So today I brought it's called The Witch and the Warlock, the brand, and I brought our Tanat. It's 100% Tanat, and Tanat is actually the reason why my husband and I met. He was looking for all the wineries in Paso that were producing Tanat because he's also a wine nerd, and so he came to Seven Oaks and looking for Tanat and found something better. So
right.
We said if we ever make wine together,
say it again.
Yes, we said if we ever make wine together, we have to make Tanat. So I brought the Tanat. So I don't know, what would you like me to pour for you?
Let's try your baby.
Okay.
You know. And look at who would have thought that you were going to move to Paso Robles, have your wine business.
Oh yes.
And meet the
love of my life. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I got two for the price of one.
Right.
Because I do have a stepson who is 11 years old now, and so not only did I get the love of my life, but I also was able to gain like a bonus child, while I was at it. So.
Right. And I see that he helps you out, both of you guys.
Yes.
You know, he helps both of you guys.
He swears, I mean, he's like preteen, so he swears like he's annoyed to do all this work. But once he's in the cellar and hanging out with us, like we have a really amazing relationship with him where like, you know, the way that some of us grew up, like we were like, you don't talk to your elders in a certain way, or, you know, you're not, you know, it's just so like outdated. I didn't want that to be
outdated.
Yeah, very outdated. And so like when I started dating my now husband and started to help him with co-parenting, I think that I was resorting to those ways of like, oh, you're a child, so like I know what's best. And then I realized that obviously that didn't work for me. Like I didn't want to have that type of relationship with him. So it really rewired like the kind of mom that I want to be. And so we have a really amazing relationship. We have amazing communication. And
that's important.
Oh, the
especially in the
part,
teens.
Absolutely. And you know what? Also, what it really allowed me to do was to be a kid myself.
Right.
I was able to experience what it's like to be a kid because I didn't have that. And so like his relationship with me and my relationship with him has not only made us stronger as a family, but also has like shown me that like I could go back in time. I can't go back in time, but I could be a child now, and that's very nourishing to me.
Yes, it is. Know? And you know, we always talk about the in my other podcast, inner child. You know, like we always want to go back and go on that roller coaster or whatever, those memories that make you happy. Like you always want to go back in time to remember those opportunities that you never had.
Absolutely.
Or that you did have, you know, depending on the circumstances for individuals, you know?
And, you know, as adults, I feel like that's something that sometimes it's lacking for us, right? Like we think of things so logically that we forget that there's other things in life that don't have to adhere to that logic. Right. That we're missing out on like this creativity and joy and bliss and excitement because we take ourselves too serious. And life should not be lived that way.
And not only do we take ourselves serious, but we limit ourselves, you know? And when we're a kid, there's no limits. We're like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a police officer. But then the minute we start getting older and they're teaching us to be afraid of things now, we're limiting ourselves, you know? And it's very important to take away those limited beliefs because then we never really move forward.
And honestly, that has been like one of the biggest like up levels of me with rewiring my brain to challenge the limiting beliefs that were passed on to me by my parents. Right. And not only am I healing myself and showing myself the evidence, right? We want to see the evidence of the opposite of what our beliefs have been telling us. Right. But also, I have been able to experience seeing changes in my parents from seeing me.
Right.
Like I don't think they thought that I didn't even think I would be where I'm at now.
Right.
And now that I'm showing them that it is possible and that I'm including them in the plans and saying,
yes,
hey
because
guys,
I see that.
We're going to manifest this together. We're manifesting, which I've told you before, once I'm ready, buying a little ranch to have a little farm. My parents are going to live with us. And I was talking to them the other day and I was
I'll get the baby chicks for you guys.
Better start like visualizing getting up in the morning, having coffee with me, going and like feeding all the animals. You know, my mom making us gorditas in the morning, like, and like I see.
And you can start off at my house.
Oh heck yeah, absolutely. But you know, like I had this conversation with them the other day, and like they believe it.
Right.
They believe it. They believe me.
And you know what? I'm so glad you said that. Okay, because we're not saying that there's anything wrong with our parents.
No,
you know, like they gave it. They're all based on what they had, right?
Yeah.
But it's a tradition that goes on from generations and generations.
Absolutely.
You know, hey, vete a trabajar, no seas de vago, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they don't really focus on the fact like, hey, why don't you start your own business?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Not because they don't want the best for you, but because they didn't know any better.
Yeah, and they're also afraid that you might fail.
Exactly.
You know?
And they don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you hurt. They want the best for you. And so if they're like, oh, mira, guárdate tu dinerito or whatever, they think that that's a blessing to you, but not necessarily knowing that they're actually limiting yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's beautiful to see that.
Oh my gosh.
You're turning their minds. You're basically breaking a barrier that we always talk about, generational barriers, you know?
Yeah. And I think also it's been easier for me because I have kind of like a friend relationship with my parents. Like I respect them a lot. And to be quite honest, I see them as my children.
Right.
Like I'm the oldest, I'm going to take care of them. So I do have the ability to have this open communication with them to be like, hey, like what you said about this, like I don't agree with this. Or like with my mom, like, so my labels, I always add positive affirmations in the back of the label. And they're always in Spanish. So at first I think I wanted to like get their input in terms of like what affirmations to write. And I realized that we're not
in the same page,
and not in the same level of that expansion of consciousness. So then I was like, you know what? I can still have them be like included in what I'm doing by asking my mom, hey, is this spelled correctly? Like, can you please tell me? I want to make sure it's spelled correctly. So there was one time that one of the affirmations was like, el mundo se mueve alrededor de mis dedos. Like the world revolves around my fingers, moves around my fingers. And my idea was, I have the world at my fingertips. I can create as I wish. You know, I have the ability to do that. So my mom goes, esta no me gusta. I don't like this one. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, it sounds like you're saying like you can have anything you want.
Why not?
And I was like, Mom, I can have anything I want.
I'm so glad you said that because I have a marble that has a world. Next time I see you, I'm going to give it to you. And I always say, you hold, the world is in your hands. Like you're capable of doing anything that you set your mind to do. Like honestly, I give it to my kids and I have some extra ones. I bought like, I kid you not, from the guy.
Bring it on.
Yeah. The guy that sells rocks in San Miguel. I'm always like reaching out to him and he literally sold me a bunch of those. I'm like, I'm buying all of them. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Because if any opportunity that I can, I'm going to give it to somebody to believe in themselves because you do have the power in your hands, you know, to change anything.
We absolutely do. And it made her uncomfortable. She was like, well, you're supposed to stay humble. And you are humble. What do you mean you can have everything? I'm like, I could be humble and also know the power that I have inside me, you know? And I told her, and so I didn't want to take it personal when she told me that because of course it's more a reflection of her beliefs than me and my capabilities. And I always
say that. I'm like, whatever they say, God forgive them for they do not know what they're saying. It's a reflection of who they are and not a reflection of who I am.
I need to get better at that because I am a little bit like, I get hurt and I get resentful. And I'm like, who do they think they are to tell me? And I'm like, wait, like, you know, and so like when my mom told me that, I decided not to use the affirmation, and which hurt me. And then the next year I was like, you know what? No, I cannot do that. So I did use the affirmation, and I recently
cheers to that.
Cheers, yes, yes.
See, I was waiting for the right cheer.
I couldn't wait. I was like, girl, I have to have a sip of this. But I did like recently had that conversation where like, you know, I no longer ask you for your advice for for them, because I feel like I love you so much, but you have those limiting beliefs, and no matter how old you are, you can always change that. And this is my reasoning. And she said, ¿sabes qué, mija? Like,
tienes razón.
Like, yeah, she was like, tienes razón. Tal vez tengo que pensar diferente. Like, maybe I need to start thinking differently. And I was like, yes, Mom. Like, you know, we all can achieve all these things.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's never too late.
It's never too late, you know? And
look at Colonel Sanders with the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I know, seriously. I'm like, if these people started late, imagine all the things that we have for ourselves.
Exactly.
You know? And so it's just been such a blessing for me to go on this journey and to also share with my parents and the people I love, because even my husband, when we met, he was like, okay, what's all this manifestation stuff or whatever, you know?
Right. And some people get weirded out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, especially like he is like more traditional. He's Christian. And so I was actually afraid that he was going to be like, esta es una bruja or whatever, you know. I'm like, I'm a witch, but I'm a good witch. I'm like a good energy, you know, crystal, moon, positivity witch. And so now, like, that he's been seeing everything that we've been able to accomplish, or I've been able to accomplish, he's like, holy smokes, like, he's like, maybe are you making me my full moon water? Like, now he's like part of it. We do the cinnamon abundance ritual every month together. You know, I've been telling him, like, we need to start visualizing what we want for the future. And he has seen the power of that. And now he's like, okay, this woman knows what she's doing. Like, and
not only that, but I mean, he is a Christian. I'm a Christian. And, you know, God came in the Holy Spirit. So it's all about energy and spirits and stuff like that. So in reality, it's, you know, you're the rocks or the manifestation. He says it on the Bible, asking you should receive. So it's the same thing, manifesting, asking for with intention of what you want.
Yeah. And I do think that also being a good human being could bring a lot of blessings to us. And like, we always focus on like, how are we showing up, and how can we like support other people that like are going through a tough situation, you know, and how can we support each other as a couple? Because also like the way I grew up, like it was always, and even, you know, with past relationships, like I always try to protect myself and was like closed off to like, even in relationships, to like start blaming or being like, you did this and this. And now I feel like I have grown so much because of my spiritual journey, where like, when I'm going to have a conversation with my husband, I come from a place of love rather than fear. And also with the way that I address the issue, or like my tone, or like just being soft.
Trying to find a solution and not create more problems.
Yeah, so like, but it's taken me a while to get there, you know, and I'm very happy to have that perspective now.
No, communication is key to everything, not just in a relationship, but in business and in everything else around it.
Absolutely.
So I know that right now that you poured the wine, but if you had a theme song, which song do you think will be blasting the minute you pull that cork off?
The one that I, of the restaurant, the one that I open, I would say something like "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles, because I honor each wine. I honor different goddesses or deities or feminine energies. So this wine I'm honoring Gaia, Pachamama, Mother Earth.
Oh, wow.
And so because she's a floral and feminine, it just that song, every time I hear it, it's like a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, it's like a radiation of sunshine.
Yeah, so like I would say that's the first song that came up to my mind. But I should be prepared with those questions, right? Like, what song? Like, yeah, no.
Well, I see that you like Carol G a lot, and you kind of resemble her a lot. You know, we were talking about with Vero. We were like, I have a listing in Los Osos, and we're like, who is a woman that represents all the key factors of like elegance and respect and, you know, beauty and intelligence, and, you know, we came with you and because it's not just about the beauty outside, right? It's the beauty inside, and not, and what makes us attractive, you know, it's your intelligence, your knowledge, your humbleness, you know, all well-rounded.
Thank you so much. And that's such a huge compliment, because, like, I am obsessed with Carol G.
I know, I see it on your stories all the time, so that's why I figured.
I'm obsessed with her. I respect her humility, her drive, her way to overcome challenges in the industry that she's in, being a woman. So in a lot of aspects, I think that there's an alignment with our journeys. Of course, at different scales, like, you know.
Hey, there's no limited beliefs here. No limited beliefs.
I even told my husband, I was like, I want to be the Carol G of wine.
That's right.
He's like, babe, you are. And I was like, no,
okay, well, we're gonna do an interview in 5 years, and we will be talking about the Carol G and wine.
Yeah, but you know, for her, for me, like, she's a true representation of who I want, how I want to show up. And there's also sometimes where, like, I saw her documentary and some of those
stories,
instances, like, she was like very assertive in a way that, like, if someone just saw her, they'll be like, what a bitch, you know. And I'm like, no,
it's boundaries.
It's boundaries, and it's also, she cares so much about what she's putting out there that you have to have a strong voice, and that's something that I yet have to develop, because I'm still like, I'm very soft, and I'm not very, like, when it comes to those things, I feel like I need to be more vocal to stand up for myself, rather than, like, just not say anything back and then be resentful about it, you know. So I definitely, like, there's a lot more work that I
everybody, we're always learning, right? So we're always learning. And then can you tell us, you know, do you have any plans, any collabs in the next couple months, years?
So, I mean, there's always so much going on, to be quite honest. And I love collaborating in events with people who align with my values. Like, I do have a collaboration with Mujeres de Acción coming up next month, where we're going to have on August 19th, it's Latina Appreciation Day. And so we're going to have, like, a little a mixer at Ulloa Cellars. I do have, I'm collaborating with a couple of other women, one of them who does perreo yoga classes down in Orchid. And so we're going to do a Carol G.
There you go, Carol G's. It's right there.
We're also doing a Carol G. As if you can't tell, I'm obsessed.
Right.
I have a friend who does paint, sip, and sing along. So you dress up with your best Carol G representation, you know, outfit. You come in, you paint, you drink, and we're, like, all singing along, passing the microphone, kind of like karaoke style. But, you know, once and then there's exciting news coming out later on, but I can't share anything yet.
So stay tuned, everyone. Stay tuned.
A lot of really, you know, to continue representing. I think that it's so important to me. But once September starts, I have no life because harvest is here, you know. So September through the end of November, I am buried in grapes. And then I pick up again, you know, I try to give myself December and January to kind of regroup myself, refresh, and nourish myself, and then start back again in February or March with events. So,
you know, right now you said about the harvest, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I almost forgot to ask you that. So, you know, the people that follow you and they see your challenges during harvest, you know, the long hours, you know, a lot of the times people just see your image right now, right? They think, she's so lucky, or blah, blah, blah. But can you please tell everybody, like, the behind the scenes, you know, the crying, you know, sometimes we get sick and we still have to keep on going, you know, the self-motivation.
Thank you so much for sharing, for, like, bringing that up, because I do feel that I don't want to, like, be like, I do this and this, but
people have a misconception.
Oh, yeah. So I definitely have heard a lot of people saying that I have received opportunities because
you're lucky,
because I am a brown woman, and a lot of brown women are getting a lot of opportunities because of our skin color. And
really? Like, where? Tell me.
All these people have not been there when I moved to Paso Robles, when no one was here with me. I didn't have my family here. I, like, the first year that I made my wine, my first wine in 2019, I was left with $50 in my bank account. I had to be vulnerable enough to ask a friend to feed me for a week.
Right.
During harvest, I make my wine. No one else is making my wine, because a lot of people also look at me all dressed up and they're like, but who makes your wine? And I'm like, you know I like to dress up and be super feminine, but it's me doing the logistics, the money. Like, I don't have investors. Like, I'm paying everything.
You don't have investors yet.
I don't want investors. See, that's the thing, that I don't have investors, not because that opportunity hasn't came up, but because I truly believe that I want to have full control of my brand. I don't want someone to come and say, you can't talk about crystals when you're pouring wine, or I want you to make a Chardonnay. I don't want to make Chardonnay, you know? So that's why I'm so stubborn. I'm like, I'll make it work how I can. And I have been able to grow my brand organically, where in 2019, I made one wine. It was 50 cases. 2024, we made, for both of the brands, it was about 14 wines, about 1,100 cases.
Wow.
So,
and I see you taking them to,
yes.
you're the one that drives them over there. You don't
so I definitely do like some deliveries to restaurants. I do deliveries to people's homes. I could ship, so thankfully I don't have to do that. You know, when I started, I couldn't do it in 2020, but now I can. And so like people don't see all the things that have come, or the things that I don't speak about, right? There's many times where like I really wondered and really asked myself, like, do you want to continue doing this for the rest of your life, especially during harvest, having 3 back-to-back 12 to 14-hour days, missing my family, missing special events, draining my energy, overworking. Like, people don't see that.
Yeah, they don't see the sacrifices.
The cute photos on Instagram of me, like, being on top of the grapes, when in reality there's so much that goes behind there, mentally, physically, emotionally. But I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. Like, I have found something that really fills me up, that continues to challenge me intellectually. I am a lifelong learner. Like, I always like to learn about different methods of making wine and how to become a better winemaker. And that's the one thing, like, I don't want to make the best white wine in Paso Robles. I want to make the best white wine that I could make. I want to I'm not trying to replicate anyone's style. So when people are like looking at me like I am like
competing against them, but you're competing against yourself.
I don't like, I'm not trying to imitate their wines, their styles. Like, I want to be me. I want to be the most true me, because for a while I wasn't. So now I'm like, how can I show up as myself? I'm too much. How can I be more? Like, you know, and if people can't
utilize your gifts and your passion, your purpose, you know?
Absolutely. So I definitely think that, and that's why I also love social media so much, because I get to show all that in real time with people. Like, I love showing the process of winemaking for people. I love to share, I had a tough ass day, and you know what, I'm still here. Or like this last year, I did a lot, 2024 harvest, I did a lot of surrendering because things that didn't go as planned. So I'm showing people that, you know what, I'm a Virgo, and I want things to go according to plan, but life doesn't work that way. And how can you take that lesson? How can you take that lesson into your life and apply it in a way that really is going to benefit you, so that you can get out of your own way and stop thinking that you can control situations, nature, people's actions. We don't have control over those things. All you can do is work with what you have and be grateful for the things that you have.
And do the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. You know, like, I don't know, you're inspiring. And not only to the wine business, but to our culture, like I mentioned. And not only to our culture, but to us women, you know, because like you said, there's not a lot of women in the wine business. And there's actually not a lot of women in leadership skills either. So you are breaking barriers. You are inspiring.
Thank you so much. And you know, like, the feeling is mutual. Like, I love what you're doing. We're doing things differently. We're in different industries. But you're also like, do you have to have a podcast? You don't have to have a podcast. You're doing this because you know that it's important for you to be able to share not only your voice, other people's voices, to connect with people at a deeper level. And that's the thing. Like, I think, like, also, like, people try to put us in these boxes and to limit us to pick a niche and just do that, right? When in reality, we're multifaceted, talented people that, like, it's only
everybody has a story. I always say everybody has a story. I mean, we all struggled at one point. We all achieve things, you know. Ahorita estamos aquí, mañana quién sabe. You know, I always say that you can be up on top today and then rock bottom tomorrow, but it's how many times are you getting up from that, right? So that's what makes you,
and how you utilize that lesson, right?
Yes, especially utilizing that lesson and learning from your experience, because otherwise you never learn. You know, you can never go forward. So Nancy, how can people reach out to you? Where's your little place.
Yeah,
I see it all the time when I go to Barney Shorts.
I am. So I have a tasting room here in Paso Robles on Union Road. I am there Friday through Sunday. Most of the time when you come in, it's me. Except, like, for example, this weekend, someone's gonna cover for me, but I'm the one hosting the tastings. I love to be able to connect with people. I also do offer wine and crystal pairings. I pair my wines with crystal, so it's a fun way for you to learn new healing modalities while you're drinking and having fun. And then you can also find me on Instagram at UlloaCellars.com. That's ULLOACELLARS. At Ulloa Cellars, yeah, and that's my Instagram. Also on my website, which is easier to remember because Ulloa is my mom's maiden name, by the way, and a lot of people don't, can't remember how to pronounce it or spell it. But my alternative URL to find me on online is latinawinemaker.com. You can see what my brand is all about there on my website. You can also purchase my wines on the website, and I ship them to you. I ship everywhere in the country except the states that it's illegal to sell to. And so I would love to connect with you. If you come to Paso or you want to just try my wine, or reach out to me on Instagram and say hello. Like, I love connecting with people, and just sharing what I have. And there's definitely I think that there's like a change coming with the way that I present myself in a more, I know that I'm very spiritual, but I'm ready to like start going deeper into that. And so I'm excited to be able to have a platform to show these things to people. Right. And share my journey with them.
Yeah, that's inspiring. Right now that you said Latina winemaker,
yes,
you did get an award, right?
Yes.
With the was it the Chamber of Atascadero or something like that? Can you tell us a little bit about, how did it feel when you got that accomplishment? Obviously, it's like breathtaking, right? It
was so surreal, to be quite honest, to be recognized as the Latino Business of the Year of North County. I never, I receive a lot of accolades, and there's, some articles and stuff like that, but to be recognized and to also have the people from the Assembly and Congress and representatives come and give me those recognitions, and
it was so surreal
to have my parents be there too. It was just I'm still processing that, and not just receiving the award, right? Having that award and showing this is my accomplishment, it's one thing, but also to have the community behind be so
supportive,
excited to see someone like me getting recognized. It wasn't just a gift for me, it was a gift for the community. These women specifically who are this is what we want to see, and I was able to achieve that, and I'm who's next? Let's continue uplifting our voices and creating that representation and showing people that we have so much value for what we bring to the table. So it's just been so surreal, and I'm so thankful to be part of this community.
Yeah, see, everything happens for a reason. Yes. I always say everything happens for a reason. So whoever that manager was that was telling you hey, you're going to be moving to Paso Robles, she probably saw a vision, know, and she believed in you. And that's, sometimes we don't believe in ourselves or how capable we are of doing certain things, but other people see that potential that you have. And believe it or not, she was a key factor in your life.
She absolutely was. Serena Harkey, by the way. Serena Harkey. She doesn't live in town any longer, but I always talk about her and how her stubbornness really got me here. And she believed in things if someone would have told me when I arrived,
you wouldn't
to Paso,
have believed it. You're right.
I would be where I'm at right now. I would be there's no fucking way. I'm not capable. I am not smart enough. I'm not intelligent. I'm not creative. I'm not artistic. I physically can't do this. I cannot afford it. I don't have the funds. And now I'm what else do I want?
You're fuck it. Yes, I can.
What else do I want? What else do I want? I seriously, now I feel there's still things that I'm trying to work within my limiting beliefs. But I do know that anything I want, it's possible and it's there and it's available. I just have to make the decision of going for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And putting in the work, obviously.
Absolutely.
Being out there, putting yourself in situations where doors are going to be opening up for you. To end this podcast, what inspirational quote or what inspirational thought can you give your followers? Obviously, believing in yourself, but what else can you can you throw out there?
Yeah, so I think I said it a few times earlier. So 2 things. One, life is too short. Like, if there's something that you want to do, that you want to try out, a business, something like, don't take yourself so serious and just go for it, right? Like, you don't want to look back 30 years from now and be like, I wish I would have done it.
Right.
So, like, that's one thing. And then also, done is better than perfect. Sometimes we, like we want to have a certain amount of money on our bank accounts before we start something, or you want to, like...
Oh, my gosh. I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
Because that's why people never start. Right?
Yes.
So just basically start.
Yeah, just get started, and then everything else will flow how it's supposed to, and even better than you expected. So just like, life is too short. Don't wait until, you're too old to be like, why? And what is too old? Right? What is too old?
What is too old?
What, like,
for real.
that like, how can we measure that? Like, so, like, just go for it, and don't do things how you think that you're expected. Just do what works for you. Yeah. But,
Right. I'm glad that, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that, because most of the time, especially in my industry, people are like, oh, no voy a comprar casa until I save for the down payment. But I'm like, there's opportunities there. There's programs with no money down, or, it's just getting started and getting the knowledge and putting yourself in situations where you can eventually get there.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're never too old for anything.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, cheers to growth.
Cheers.
And nothing but blessings your way. And I can't wait to see what else you have, all that good news. So everybody follow her on Instagram, on social media, because apparently she has some exciting news that she can't talk about yet. But hopefully, it's something that... Off air, yeah. Yeah, right?
And I do look forward to coming back after you help me find my first home, because I think that this will be like, we'll come back and then I'll be like, you know what? I got rid of that limiting belief.
That's right.
Of not being able to handle having this home, because that's something that has been brewing in me, like, why am I stopping myself from doing this when I know I'm capable of? So I can't wait to
you're
come
capable
back
of anything and more.
Like, I'm gonna do some like rewiring, reframing. I'm gonna get that home. My parents are gonna move in, and then I'm gonna be back on the podcast and be like, this is how I did it.
Y yo le voy a traer los pollitos.
Sí, yes. Bringing los pollitos.
Yeah, sí se puede. Todo se puede en esta vida. Sí. Todo is just intention,
Yes, absolutely.
Believing and affirmations.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and the world is in your hands, guys. The world is in your hands. So, well, thank you so much for coming. I am inspired, and I am very, very honored to have you here.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
The feeling is mutual.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you, guys.